Former President Trump has tapped Ohio Senator J.D. Vance as his running mate. Now for a look at how this move could impact the Trump economic agenda. I want to bring in Oren Cass, chief economist at populist economic think tank American Compass. I want to thank you for joining us. Want to get your thoughts in terms of not just where J.D. Vance sits in terms of his own thoughts, but how you think his thoughts will ultimately influence the president.
Well, Senator Vance has been a real leader in the GOP, in the Senate, in really charting the course for conservatism, for an economics that actually focuses on the interests of workers, on understanding what has gone so wrong in the economy in recent decades. And so certainly just the choice of him on the ticket, I think, rightfully has the old right, you know, the Wall Street Journal editorial board and so forth, recognizing that they are no longer in charge in this party. And I think in practice, you know, Senator Vance is one of the most thoughtful, innovative leaders we have seen in the Senate in recent years. And I expect he's going to bring that to the ticket and would bring that to the White House as well.
In terms, though, of how you think the president will think about some of these issues, do you think that they are do you think they see eye to eye on all of these things? Simpatico. I mean, we talk about Lena Khan. We talk about the Department of Justice when it comes to mergers, when it comes to regulation of big companies. There are things that Trump has said that seem to maybe be at odds with things that Vance has said.
Well, I think President Trump on policy has always been conflicted between, on one hand, some commitment to the old right view of things. Obviously had folks like Larry Kudlow very influential in his administration, and a new way of thinking about things, you know, on trade, on immigration, on even industrial policy, on a whole host of issues. I think he's been much more skeptical of market fundamentalism and much more open to really shifting the party. And so it's always been a fair and open question, what would he do in a second term? He had some choices like Doug Burgum, like Glenn Youngkin, that would have indicated one direction he was heading to go, one way he was thinking. And he had choices like Senator Vance and Senator Rubio that indicated a very different orientation. And in Senator Vance, I think he's sent the strongest possible signal that he is persuaded by this new way of thinking, and that is generally speaking the way that he wants to head. I'm sure they won't agree on everything, but obviously you don't pick Senator Vance as your vice president if that's not the set of discussions you want to be having.
The other question, it feels like a doubling down in some ways, and I'm curious whether you think politically this was the right decision insofar as, to the extent that you want to have a broad tent, does this push the party and push the Trump agenda one way, as opposed to sort of bringing in maybe some folks who might have been in the middle to join?
Well, I guess that depends on who you define as the folks in the middle, right? I mean, the reality of what's going on in the Republican Party in the broader political realignment in America is that you're seeing, yes, some more highly educated, high-income folks leaving the Republican Party and heading to the left. You know, you have a bunch of libertarians who are suddenly trying to decide which party they want to be in. But for every one of those, you might have 10 working class Americans of all races who are much more socially conservative to begin with and are now very excited about the message that they're hearing on economics. And so I think, you know, if you're trying to sort of play the game of the past couple of decades and kind of do the Karl Rove thing and win by a few votes, maybe you make a different pick. If you're actually trying to build a durable governing majority that's going to push this country forward, I think the direction that Senator Vance takes things, the direction that a Trump-Vance ticket might represent, who they can bring together, is by far the much larger constituency.
Or last time you were on, I guess horrified is a strong word, but it almost sounds like heresy. Some of that. The populism you're describing almost sounds like it's closer to progressivism than classic conservatism. And we all, I think, you know, J.D. Vance, Donald Trump, everybody wants to raise everyone up as much as they can in terms of economic prosperity without necessarily, you don't want to bring the top down for us all to meet at the bottom. You want to raise it up. And it's almost like you're saying the jury is in on trickle down, and growing the pie through growth policies doesn't work anymore. I don't think some of these things you're talking about will generate growth. It may feel good, and you may, engender populism and bring in some more people. But if they're fundamentally bad economic policy, it's not worth it. And I'm wondering, do I need to be a neocon? I don't want to be a neocon. Do I have to join the Lincoln Project? I don't want to go that way, Oren. Is there a place for Larry Kudlow in this new scenario?
Well, I think there's a place for anyone who's willing to look seriously at what has actually gone on in the economy over the past few decades. I mean, I love growth. I'm all for policies that are actually going to generate economic growth. And the reality is that, as you just called it, trickle-down economics, this idea that all we need is more tax cuts and somehow doing whatever is best for capital is ultimately going to be best for everybody.
Money in the private sector. I mean, all those things are...
Well, let me answer the question, Joe.
They're time-tested. They're time-tested, though, Oren. I mean, we're the most successful country in the world with the best middle class. We've taken more people out of poverty. These other countries are chasing us, trying. In Europe, their GDP has grown 40% slower over the past 40 years. China's, rolling, but their GDP per person is 10 grand. We're $50,000 here. We're the envy of the world. But you know what? We got to go because there's Morgan Stanley's going to report at 7:30, Oren. I'm sorry, but we're going to start interrupting interviews because of this. But answer as quickly as you can.
Well, very quickly, time-tested is just wrong. The American tradition since the founding was, among other things, protectionist policies. We always had high tariffs. We always had industrial policy. What you're describing as time-tested is a blip over the past couple of decades, and it's not time-tested. It's time-failed. Growth has gotten slower and slower. Wages have stagnated. And so, yes, people, conservatives, anyone who's paying attention is recognizing it's time to go a different direction. It's excited to see, I'm very excited to see Trump and Senator Vance going a different direction. And please get on board, Joe. Take a look at what's actually happened.
Let me look into it, Oren.